Hey, it's Jeremy with Teltone. I want to do a track breakdown for the trailer music for Oracle. The name of the track is 10, and let's jump in. And I am operating on the assumption that you have already watched the trailer and listened to the music. Maybe I'll play the full thing at the end, but I do want to jump right into the sounds. And so the intro, before the drums and bass come in, there's a little keys part and then a pad part underneath. And I kind of dissected a preset into two different settings to make this sound. So there's the preset Beauty in Nature that's playing this keys part. And then that is part of that preset. And then I took the other part of the preset and used it as a pad combined with another preset called Be Wonderful. And this is what makes up the pad underneath that keys part. Kind of this lush synthy string pad sound. And then I'm using the preset Habanya. This is a preset that Ryan made. I had to look up. I wanted to make sure I was saying this right. I'm not sure I am. I think this is a reference to something from Dune, but I'm not certain. And of course, I made some alterations to that for this song, but that is built upon this preset Habanya. And then there's also this preset being used called Untame. And this is kind of just some swirly noise sound effects that are happening underneath it. So when you put these together, the intro sounds like this. So that brings us to the verse part, which I think is where things get a little more interesting. So the foundation of this is a preset that I realized did not make it into the instrument. We are constantly building different beta versions of this and then having to resave presets as we go. And this one sadly got left out. So I'm going to make sure to let you see it so you can rebuild it yourself. So let me solo this track and the track below it, because I have the ARP sequence happening on one track, and then I recorded the automation on its own track just to keep things neat and tidy. And by the way, whenever you see mono here, this was a temporary name given to the instrument before we came up with Oracle, so don't let that throw you off. So here's what this bass part sounds like with the modulation lane where I'm using the mod wheel. I have both of those unmuted. Keep an eye on this release slider right here. And that was done by just using Control-Click and Learn MIDI CC. Then you're going to wiggle the mod wheel, and then you can attach it to any one of these sliders. So this is a preset that is using the arpeggiator, and it is also using the swing function, as you can see. And in addition to using this release, I'm also using the length lane and the filter lane. Not using any of the character or color. I'm pausing on this just so in case you want to remake this yourself, you can. There's no other movement going on besides what I have going here on the tune, which actually isn't doing much because retrigger is turning on, so it's just adding little subtle tune variations here. So that's going to serve as a bass and kind of a rhythm for the drums also. Next we have the hi-hats and claps. These are also presets that come with Oracle. I have a whole separate video on how to make drum sounds using Oracle. I'm not sure when we're going to release it, so it might be out when you see this and it might not be. But when you put the bass together with this hi-hat and clap, it sounds like this. Let me go ahead and open up that hi-hat. And you'll notice that I attached the mod wheel to the decay in this instance. There are no sources loaded. This is created using just the noise and then a bit of filtering. So that's how you can create a hi-hat and then open it up using the mod wheel. I'm going to skip ahead to the part where the ride is being used. This, I believe, is also being made almost entirely with just noise. There is one other thing I want to point out for the rhythm section. There's this preset called Karma that is another ARP sequence, and let's open that up. So this is going to be another sequence that uses the arpeggiator with some variations in the length lane and the filter lane, also with a bit of swing added to it. And I'm kind of using this as a bit of a drum fill. So let's play some of this with Karma being played also. So that's how I was using that preset there. There is one other supplemental bass part in here, and it is this preset called Blunted Square. It only comes in for one part of the verse, but I'm going to go ahead and show you that. And we'll open that up real quick. And you'll notice this had a different name at the time. I think I changed it to, yeah, Blunted Square. So this is using the Model D Square, and then with the attack turned up on the filter and on the volume tab. And then it's got a little bit of saturation and drive happening along with some filtering. Oscillator B is turned off, movement's turned off. So that is basically it for that Blunted Square. There are a few more decorative things that I won't spend a whole lot of time on, but there's this Whirly Tube preset. This is one that my partner Ryan made. Sounds like this. There's another one called A Terror. It comes in a little bit later on this verse. In context, they sound like this. In case you're wondering, there's some vocal sampling stuff that I'm doing down here that I put out of frame because those were just done using a sampler. So the last little supplemental thing for this verse that I want to point out is this Schoenberg minor preset, and this is a preset that is using the custom shapes as a step sequencer, basically, to create a melodic line. In context, it sounds kind of string-like. Let me pull up that preset. So you can see that I'm using two different tabs of movement to create custom shapes, which you can look at here. And then both A and B oscillators are using the Model D soft strings. And then it looks like I have the mod wheel attached to the cutoff here. And that leads us into a section where one of the main sounds is being used. It's this Mother of Sighs preset, S-I-G-H-S. I feel like I need to say that. You could get the wrong idea. And I'm using the mod wheel on this. This is built into the preset. You don't have to attach the mod wheel to anything because this is something I made inside the preset. So the mod wheel is going to be attached to, I believe, a delay and then also the cutoff. So yeah, we can see movement number 1 has the mod wheel button turned on, depth is all the way up, and this is attached to the reverb and the delay. The second movement tab is attached to the volume on oscillator B. And then this third one, okay, I was wrong. It is not the cutoff. It is the amount slider for filter on oscillator B. Okay, let's get to this instrumental section. We have another Schoenberg preset. This is the Schoenberg major preset. It's similar to the minor one, except for this step sequencer is set up a bit differently. But these are not strings. These are just using the sources. I'm assuming it's going to be those soft string sources like we had before. Let me find this instance. Okay, so here we have it. Yeah, once again, we're using the soft strings. There's a bunch of movement here. We have the mod wheel attached to some things, and then the custom shapes once again are creating a pitch pattern inside this box. But yeah, let's play this section while we watch. So that brings us back to the intro again, but this time we have our rhythm section running at the same time. There is just one addition here, and it is this saw filter noise os, which I just made this effect, kind of this reverse noise fade in sound. And it sounds like this. I'm going to go ahead and just play the entire track now from the beginning, just in case you didn't get a chance to hear it. And now you'll kind of get somewhat of an idea of what's going on with all of these instances of Oracle. Okay, so those are all the elements I used to make the track 10. Oracle is out now. Follow us on Instagram at Teletone Audio. Thank you so much for watching.